Welcome to Live at Lunch. I'm Lori Wingard with Home Care Assistance. We're here today to talk about advanced directives, end-of-life documents, things that nobody wants to think about. So here on the table, Brooke, we have things that represent end-of-life time, right? You love Pink Floyd, I heard.
Yes.
No, you don't.
No,
They have a famous song called Time, ticking away the moments that make up a dull day. And I always, whenever I see a clock, I think of that song because it really is the lyrics are amazing, but it just reminds us all that, you know, the end is here before we know it. Enjoy every day.
That's right. Yeah. It's really important too, you know, just to be prepared.
Yeah. I read a statistic once that I now use when I do presentations, that 66% of people have planned their funerals, but 66% of people have never prepared for their years after retirement. They haven't done any of this work that we'll be talking about today.
Yeah. Maybe we should introduce them to
somebody. We probably should. Yeah. I have someone in mind.
Well, me too. Well, today we welcome Jessica Roshon from Taps Sutton Law. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Hi.
Welcome. How are you today?
I am just fine.
Yeah?
Yes.
Do you have any collections of silly clocks?
You know, I don't have any collections, but I am a clock lover. We have a grandfather clock at home that chimes every hour. It drives my husband nuts, but I find it very
Do you have to reset the pendulum?
Yeah, when I forget to wind it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool. I've never had one.
So when I use the words advanced directives, end-of-life documents, is that the right terminology for what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big part of what we do, and like you said, something a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah. Well, you see a lot of people, obviously that's really a weird thing to say. You work with a lot of clients, and so you've seen a lot of situations. What is one thing, or what are some of the things that people really avoid that you wish they would do differently?
Yeah, so it's hard to talk about some of these things, you know, what happens if I get sick, what happens if a loved one passes away. So it's the thinking about it and trying to plan ahead that's some of the hardest parts, and actually pulling the trigger to walk in and see an attorney or to start that conversation. So that's, you know, really kind of getting the ball rolling and starting the process is the hardest part. Once you're in it, it kind of happens, but you know, it's one of those things where when clients leave, they're like, oh, finally, I can check that off. You know, I've been meaning to do it for 10 years and I can check it off my list.
There are some things like that once you have it done, you don't realize the weight it was on your shoulders. And now you can kind of enjoy life knowing that part of it has been taken over.
Exactly.
What do those documents include? Like, what do people have to think
so
about?
Of course, most people think about wills, right? Like, what happens to my stuff? Who's going to get my stuff?
Like my clock collection.
Yeah, exactly. Who's going to get my clock?
You're going to leave that grandfather clock to him, right?
It's all his. But what we don't see people thinking about as much are some of the other things for after you pass away, like beneficiary designations. So a will is great, but you know, that takes you through the court process and things like that. So talking to your bank, looking at your house and your car, getting some of those beneficiaries taken care of is something that people either don't know about or don't think about. And even more so than that, some of those lifetime documents like powers of attorney, again, people don't really think so much about those, and sometimes those are more important than a will, because if you end up in a position where you can't do things for yourself, you'd like to have a spouse or a child there to help.
How long does it take to put all that together? Is that a big...
It's really not hard. I mean, once you know what you want in the documents, it's a couple days just to get the documents together. It's really not a big project, but like I said, it's the starting and the coming to those decisions about who you trust, you know, to help make those decisions.
What are some tips and tricks for people that are preparing to come see you? Things that they can think about, and how does the process go? Yeah,
so you know, the process is, again, kind of looking at the people in your life. Do you have a spouse? Do you have adult children? Do you have a trusted friend or a neighbor? Someone who, if the bottom falls out and you need someone there, who's going to be there to help? And so just kind of thinking about, you know, who would be that person. If you've got someone financial in the family, that's a great person to, you know, handle some of those financial transactions. If you've got a nurse or a doctor in the family, great person to be on some medical documents because they get the terminology and talk the talk, right? And so it's just, again, kind of thinking through, if the bottom falls out, who's going to be there, and who do I trust to kind of jump in and handle it like I would, and who has the same views, or at least appreciates and understands my views about different aspects.
And I'm sure that having that conversation with those people is important too.
It is. Well, and, you know,
Surprise!
Yes. Well, some people don't tell them, and so it can be a surprise. The other thing that I find interesting is a lot of our clients will say, "Well, I have to name both of my kids because I want it to be an equal thing." But what clients don't realize is that it's a job when it comes to handling, you know, bills and making medical decisions. So it doesn't always have to be an equal thing. And some children might appreciate not having the extra burden. I say burden lightly, not that helping parents or loved ones is a burden, but it's time consuming. And so making sure that person is comfortable and has the ability to take the time, you know, away from kids or whatever they have. It's important to look at all of that.
You know, everybody, including me, I wouldn't say everybody, most people, including me, worry about outliving their money. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter how much you have. It's like, how, you know, it's like, it's not about hoarding it, but it's, you know, it's just, you want to be generous with your money at the same time. You want to, it's not even about saving money for your kids anymore. It's about like not outliving your money. So now that we're, you know, you might retire at 65 and you might live to 100. That's a long time. Do the math. What is it, 35 years or something?
Sounds good.
You got to be prepared. So how do you have those discussions, and what do people think about?
So interestingly enough, people come to us sometimes when they're 40 and 50 and say, I need to get this, you know, how do I, you know, take care of my money? How do I start saving? And when you're that young, starting the planning to talk to a financial advisor to look at, you know, what is your retirement going to look like? How does your portfolio look? Looking into long-term care insurance. Sometimes, you know, that's a major way that you can insure, especially when you're young and you can have lower premiums. That's a great way to ensure you've got a chunk of change set aside for care.
It's a good plan.
It is. It's a good plan. It's not right for everybody, but something to look into. You know, and then once you start getting, you know, to that retirement age and past, you know, talking to, again, financial advisors, attorneys about what can I do to put aside money to make sure that my quality of life is going to be maintained. You know, I want to live when I'm 80 how I'm living now. How do I make sure my quality of life is there?
Yeah, we definitely get that here. We accept long-term care insurance. So we see a lot of people that are like, well, I paid for it.
About 25% of our clients actually have it. And sometimes they're the people who are most, you know, they have the most resources. But they've just known they're the ones who are smart enough to make good planners.
And I mean, that's it. Starting early and talking early, and it doesn't always happen. I mean, there are events that happen, health crises that happen, and there are government resources out there too. You know, VA is a big source of funding for people. Medicaid is another resource. So just really, if there is a crisis, kind of tapping into those resources to see what is available if you've not done some of that pre-planning.
But getting in touch with an attorney early on, well, they now know where to turn if they have those questions, right? They can come to you and say, it seems like my money is dwindling faster than I thought. Or I've had some crises that have taken more money than I expected it to. But now they have a relationship.
Attorneys, financial advisors, care planners, all of those people kind of come to the table and work together to make sure that the whole picture is taken care of, legally, financially, care-wise.
And then you can be restful and enjoy your life and not have to worry.
Check off that box and move on.
Well, speaking of worries, what keeps you up at night?
Oh, many things. In relation to what we're talking about, you know, it's the people who read an article, talk to a neighbor, see something on the news, and kind of go try to do it themselves without talking to an attorney, a financial advisor, because there are so many pitfalls. And when you're talking about care and, again, planning and insurance, there are so many timing points that again, it's so easy to misstep or to do something that's going to then affect you for so long. So it's those people who try to do it on their own to save a couple dollars when really I think it's worth the money for just even a consult with somebody.
So maybe save the do-it-yourself projects for a cabinet.
Yes.
Or cupboard. We've had people, you know, say to us, you know, well, I think I'll just go ahead and we've started the VA benefit procedure myself, and I'll say, okay, well, in 18 months when they, you know, respond back that you don't qualify, then let me know and I'll connect you with somebody who can help make sure, because it is a hard thing to do and hard thing to do right.
It's
a process.
And to your point, Lori, then you're a year and a half down the road, you've spent more money out of your pocket that maybe you wouldn't have had to, and again, had you just fronted some of the money initially, you would have known it's done right and you've got someone advocating for you who knows what they're doing.
Well, Jessica, you seem like you know what you're talking about. So what keeps you excited about things?
Oh, I love working with people in this area. Sometimes it's the hardest part of their lives when a loved one needs care, or you're starting to talk about end of life planning. It's hard and it's emotional, but knowing that I can be that person to kind of take the stress off of them and ensure that they're going to get the outcome that they deserve. It's what keeps me going every day.
Awesome.
Helping people in their time of crisis.
Yeah.
I love that. I think a lot of us in elder care feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not, like I said, it's not ideal, but when it happens, if I can be the one to lighten your load a little bit, by golly, let's do it.
You'll do it.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Brooke, how do people get in touch with
Well,
us?
let's see. Well, if you would like to get a hold of Jessica or Taps Sutton, her email address is going to be at the bottom of the screen right now. And to get a hold of Home Care Assistance, we have many ways. You can find us on Instagram or Facebook at WeAreHCA, or you can stop by our beautiful office here in Tremont Center any time of the day, Monday through Sunday. We're here every day. And you could also find us at our phone number at 614-481-8888. Thanks.
And if you come on Saturday or Sunday, it'll be Brooke who's here.
That's right.
to
I
answer.
don't know why I said that.
We're usually Monday through Friday, but we can meet you here anytime.
Yes, but we're available by phone 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's what I meant.
All right. Well, you always make me laugh.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us today, live at lunch, and enjoy your lunch, whatever.
Thank you.